Sweet the whispers in your ear whenever ember wanders near.
Okay, so the only thing I know about this situation is he was at like some kind of I don't know if it was a DNC convention or something, but he basically sang the We Are Charlie Kirk song. That's literally the only thing I really know about this entire situation. So I have no idea what else is going on here. So I am going in pretty blind, at least to my understanding. So we'll see what the hell's happening here with, Dan Clancy's favorite cuck boy. By the way, Monarch, thank you for the gifted. Thank you very much. So let's take a look.
Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So in this video, I'll be talking about the latest involving Hasan Piker. I think everyone watching this video is very aware of the duplicitous and evil nature of this guy, but somehow he's sinking even lower. This time in multiple posts and at a live event, mocking the assassination of Charlie Kirk, someone that Hasan knew personally. And this takes place not even a year.
By the way, knew personally, and as a reminder, Hasan characterized Charlie Kirk's assassination as Charlie running away from the debate with him. Charlie Kirk was due to have a debate with Hasan 2 weeks after the date of his assassination. And Hasan, about a month or so ago, characterized Charlie Kirk being assassinated as Charlie running away from the debate, because he basically lumped it in. He said people that were going to debate me have all run away. He said Destiny, and then he also said Charlie Kirk. So this is someone who considers being assassinated as running away from a debate with him. Just as a reminder.
After that act of political violence took his life. Now, before we get into that part, we got to re-examine the budding political career of Hasan. He got something he's never gotten before, and that is a direct mention from President Donald Trump, who described him as a communist fanatic who said America deserved 9/11. And Hasan giddy in this quote saying, OMG, first Trump mention. Notice how he never said Trump's comments were wrong.
Yes! And that's exactly what I said to Abdul El-Sayed, too. When Abdul El-Sayed took this video footage, tweeted about it, and was saying, like, oh, Trump, Orange Man bad, blah, blah, blah. And I responded to it and said, can't help but notice, but you didn't say he was wrong. And that apparently got me on the Twitchy website for that tweet.
But also, this is Hasan Piker. Okay, this is what it's all about. He wants the attention and the validation. It's not about making any real changes. It's about him. And him being mentioned, even if it essentially looks like this, where he's being clowned on for being a Nepo baby commie LARPer that is essentially cancer for anyone on his side who associates with him politically.
It's actually kind of hysterical that they've thrown their hat in with Hasan when literally all he is an attention whore. That's it. Hasan is nothing more than a Nepo baby attention whore who is LARPing as a communist and as and is a terrorist sympathizer. He is so desperate for attention that he's desperate for attention. He literally lies about every aspect of his life, about how he is as a person. He likes to pretend like he's a socialist. He likes to pretend that he's a communist. He's not. He's a capitalist. He's a capitalist. He's a pure capitalist. Make no mistake. That's why he lives in a multi-million-dollar mansion. That's why he wears tens of thousands of dollars worth of clothes. That's why he dresses up in the Mao suit. He is desperate for attention because maybe mommy and daddy didn't give it to him when he was growing up. They just threw money at him and said, here, son, be happy. But he is desperate for attention. He is unlike what a lot of other people say about, people like me, people like Leaf, people like Powder, et cetera, calling us grifters. He is legitimately a grifter because the definition of a grifter is pretending that you are someone that you are not, specifically for the purposes of conning other people out of money. That is precisely what he does. He does not believe in socialism. He does not believe in communism. Because if he did, then he would not be living in $1 million mansions. He would be saying, oh, I need to make all this money so I can preach the gospel of socialism. Oh, I need all this money so I can preach the gospel of the Chinese Communist Party. No, it's all a scam. It's all a grift. He's actually a capitalist. He's not a smart individual. His mommy and daddy paid for his college degree, so he's not a smart individual. What he's got is he has some degree of charisma, and to some people, maybe he is considered attractive. Me personally, I don't. I think he's disgusting, but some people might actually think he's attractive, particularly gay Rolling Stones journalists who basically want to lick the sweat off of his abs for all reasons. That's what boils down to with us.
But when it comes to the Charlie Kirk comments at a recent live event and in a tweet, he was mocking the assassination of him. And I have said this before, and it might shock you, not Kaya, but you, that I have prayed for Hasan Piker. No, seriously, because I believe he's playing a very dangerous game. I don't think he realizes how over his little head all of this is. For years, he's been sharing all kinds of calls for political violence.
It was GQ, not Rolling Stone. No, it was Rolling Stone, too. Rolling Stone also did the puff piece on him. That was the one where he was naked in a bathtub. It was both.
All of this is. For years, he's been sharing all kinds of calls for political violence, and now he's at this event, mocking the assassination of Charlie Kirk at a public event while speaking at a public event. Do you understand?
While wearing the Mao suit, mind you. Notice, he's wearing the Mao suit at an American Democratic conference, and he's dressed like Mao. And people are cheering him. Just as a reminder.
How dangerous all of this is, besides the incredible levels of disrespect. And you think about how this all began. After the assassination, Hasan went to several publications and made articles where somehow Hasan was the victim of the situation. And you can see comments like this. Feel free to screenshot this one. I feel like nobody talks about this quote.
Yeah.
Where he says after the assassination, he's now fearful about political violence.
Which is such bullshit. That is such bullshit. In recent years, we have only seen one side facilitating political violence. One. That's it. There's no, there's only one side that has been committing these high-level political assassinations and assassination attempts. So that's it. So again, this is him grifting. This is him pretending to make himself look sympathetic and go, oh, I'm in the political sphere. I'm so fearful for my life. No, you're not. You're lying. We know you're lying. That's it.
And even back then, a year ago, that was incredibly ironic coming from him. But now, fast forward to not even a year later, he's mocking that exact event and basically dancing on his colleague's grave. Okay, yeah, they might have been foes and adversaries, but they were essentially colleagues. The difference being that Charlie Kirk was massively successful and made positive impacts for his political party, which is the exact opposite of Hasan, especially given these days. But also in those articles, he described how horrific it was, especially seeing a human being he knew personally have that happen to him, and that he fell victim to what is a clear rise of political violence. The call is coming from inside the house, dude. You are a part of this problem.
Yes, as a reminder, Hasan has openly screamed on stream for his viewers to attack and kill quote-unquote capitalists. He has called for his viewership to commit murder against sitting political officials. Hasan, not Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk did not call for violence or death upon anybody. Hasan has done so multiple times in graphic detail. He has literally graphically described eviscerating capitalists and the end result of said evisceration. That's Hasan. He's the only one out of the two of them that has called for bloody violence against anybody. And by the way, when he did that, he didn't catch a ban. He was streaming on Twitch when he did that. All those times. Did not catch a ban. Although, no, sorry. No, I think maybe he did for the Rick Scott comment. He caught like a one-day ban or maybe a weekend ban from Twitch on the Rick Scott comment, I believe. It should have been for, he should have been permabanned because he was platforming a terrorist on his stream and basically doing like the hand heart thing and basically saying that a Houthi terrorist was the bestest thing ever. But didn't catch a ban for that. And he did not catch a ban for multiple times calling for the death of quote-unquote capitalists. Never caught a ban for any of that. As a reminder, Asmongold has caught multiple 2-week bans for saying something that is maybe 1/10 as bad, if that. One of those, you could even argue, was not that there was no violation of TOS whatsoever. Asmongold's latest violation, you can argue, okay, you could maybe argue that maybe something in what he said might have violated TOS. I'm not going to get into the argument about whether or not it's true, because again, we don't even know for sure that that's why he was banned. It's assumed that what he said in regards to the immigrants with the Quetta situation, we're assuming that's what it was. The first time Asmongold got banned for 2 weeks, didn't even say anything did not even say anything that's a violation of TOS. But because Twitch is a left-leaning platform, they banned him for 2 weeks. Asmongold has literally called for the deaths of people, including like actual targeted people. Not once has he caught a ban for that. Not once. Just as a reminder.
This is one of those incredibly rare events in the world where I genuinely believe...
Sorry, did I say Asmongold? I'm sorry. I always like back and front their fucking names. Hasan caught it. Hasan has not caught a ban. Not Asmongold. Sorry. I always fucking do that. I always like trip over myself and call one the other and the other. Yeah, no, Hasan is the one that has called for the deaths of individuals in bloody detail and never once caught a ban. Not once.
The reaction to his assassination pretty much tells me everything I need to know about you as a person. Nobody's asking you to shed a tear or feel sorry or anything, but the demonic, bloodthirsty ecstasy people have been sharing about this event for the last year tells me everything I need to know about these savages. Okay, it's everything I need to know if that's how you're responding to a guy being downed in front of not only a crowd of people, but his own family as well. And this stuff has not stopped. Like, there's probably some sort of post mocking him every second of the day to this point. In fact, this clip has gone viral recently from a drag queen show where one of the lovely participants dressed up as Charlie with a wound on his neck while meme images of him were playing in the background. And as pointed out in this quote, yeah, they just want healthcare, right? That's all they want. They just want healthcare. Well, even that, another viral post with tens of thousands of likes threatening violence if they don't get their healthcare. Okay? Yeah, these people aren't joking, by the way.
No. These people are literally telling you what they are. Believe them. Every time these people are broadcasting to you what they are, it's not a joke. You believe that. In this day and age, you absolutely believe them, and you take precautions as necessary from these people. They've proven it over and over and over again that this is not a joke. They are not making a funny. They are not memeing. They are literally telegraphing what they intend to do. So when they show you whom they are in this way, believe that.
I think we've been around the block enough to know they're not joking. You know who wasn't joking about this sort of sentiment? Of course, Luigi here.
Yeah.
Who offed the United Healthcare CEO. And how'd that go? Do we have free healthcare yet? Oh, that's right. He literally ruined his life for absolutely nothing. That's the only thing that he won out of this. And he's going to enjoy the rest of his life in a federal prison.
He pled guilty, by the way.
Now, going back to Hassan, ever since the passing of Charlie, he has been constantly taking shots at him and also his organization, Turning Point USA, basically saying they're not carrying the flame of his legacy.
By the way, this is Hassan's, saying of the week. I've seen multiple posts of his, is this whole thing of carrying the flame. That's his newest, little cliche saying that he's just vomiting up on literally every fucking post that he makes.
And now he's boldly stating that he is carrying the flame. I think what's happening here is that Hassan Piker is still, to this day, so brain broken by Charlie's legacy that Charlie achieved more in his short life than Hassan would ever achieve, even if he had 1,000 years to do it. In fact, he is basically the opposite. Instead of having a positive impact on his party, he is essentially a cancer that everyone should stay away from.
It's more than that. Hassan knows that Charlie Kirk was 1,000 times more of a man than he will ever hope to be, and it eats at him. It eats at him every single day. That's why he mocks Charlie. That's why on his stream he danced to the Charlie Kirk song. That's why he sang it at that convention, is because he knows that Charlie Kirk is far better of a man than Hassan can ever hope to have in his wettest of dreams. Why? Very simple reason. It's honestly hilarious how very simple of a reason it is that Charlie Kirk was a better man than Hassan could ever hope to be. Charlie Kirk actually talked to people. He actually held dialogue. He actually would go to schools, go to colleges, and have people come up and present them, and he would listen to them. And he would have dialogue with that person. Now, granted, plenty of people would just when Charlie would basically, with logic and reasoning, shut down their arguments, and then they would get butthurt and claim he was a Nazi. That's just brain broken thinking by those people. But he actually had dialogue with people. He actually challenged people to have a discussion with him. And to my understanding, there were a couple times where I think some people may have actually changed his opinion. That when he had this dialogue, he may have actually changed his opinion about some things based upon the discussion that he had with them at these events. Hassan is not capable of that. Hassan is not capable of having a dialogue because Hassan wants to be worshipped. That's what he is. He is someone with a God complex, and he only wants to be worshipped. That's why any of his chatters that come in and dump on him and basically challenge him, he bans them immediately. It's why he doesn't actually do debates and instead sits at the sideline while he has a proxy do a debate for him and sits there going, yeah, do it. And then flexing like he's a bodybuilder and basically if he was a girl, he would have been throwing panties at the screen. When I think it was Dan Saltman was doing a debate with Ethan, I believe it was. I'm pretty sure it was Dan Saltman that did a debate with Ethan because Hassan was too scared to because he was like, I don't want to get banned. Destiny might be there. I might get banned because Destiny might be there. And so he was pussing out, had dance. I think it was Dan Saltman in his place debating Ethan. And the entire time, Hassan was just like, yeah, and like flexing. He was literally flexing on screen watching the debate. And that's why I say, like, if he was a woman, he would have been throwing his panties at the screen. He was so fucking wet about it. That's who Hassan is. You have to basically worship him and agree with everything he says. Because if you don't, he doesn't want to have anything to do with you. Hassan is not interested in discourse. He is not interested in conversation. He literally wants your submission and will accept nothing else. That's why he is far, far still less of a man than Charlie ever was. He knows it. He hates it. And it eats at him every single day.
They want to preserve their chances of winning on his side. And also, let me remind you guys, these are the sort of interactions that Charlie and Hassan had. This clip really tells me the difference between these two guys, okay?
What's up, Charlie? How you doing?
You gotta send me commission on all the YouTube videos you make about him.
Yeah, you can see the two different type of people here. Charlie coming...
Look at how uncomfortable he was. He looked at him for 2 seconds.
You gotta send me commission on all the YouTube videos you make about him.
Didn't even say goodbye to him. He did his fake ass laugh, nicked away, would not even look at him as Charlie was walking away, didn't even say goodbye to him. Didn't even say, hey, good to see you, nothing like that. Could not look Charlie in the face. This is what I'm talking about. He knew Charlie was a far better man than he could ever even hope to be. And it eats at him every single day.
Yeah, you can see the two different type of people here. Charlie coming up to Hassan, despite Hassan saying abhorrent things about him for years, he's able to joke about it and have a lighthearted interaction. Hassan is genuinely angry. Like, you can tell he is genuinely miffed by what just happened right there. And again, it's all the difference. But the sort of rage towards Charlie and Turning Point US.
Look at the pose. Because, of course, he's doing the communist pose of the hand tucked into his jacket, like Mao, like every other Russian dictator throughout history, like a certain person in 1930s, 1940s Germany. That's kind of the same pose as a certain individual in 1939 to 1945. Certain individual in Germany would often strike the same pose. Very interesting. Very interesting.
USA from Hassan has not ceased. So he had this recent live event where he's with his podcast buddies here. They took a break from worshiping terrorist groups and saying that their flags look really cool to do this.
33,
and
yeah. I always
event,
mess up that day.
He made this tweet with the caption, "Carried the flame tonight." Obviously trying to say something negative about Charlie Kirk and his legacy. But of course, people are clowning on this guy who whipped out his little Mao Zedong suit here. You can see someone like WestJet saying, socialism is when no Taylor. Here's another one saying, I don't mean to be mean, but there's literally not one good-looking person in the entire audience. Everyone is ugly, fat, or both. Leftism, being a biological phenomenon, keeps being confirmed. And yet, zoom in on the crowd.
Wow. Wow. Hard to tell for some. It's hard to tell the further you go back, but wow.
It's a very white crowd. It's very funny when you think about this, because this is what Hassan Piker pretends the audience of people like...
Hang on, what do you say?
It's a very white crowd.
Not entirely. Granted, you know what it looks like? Okay, chat, am I crazy? Tell me if I'm crazy. It looks to me like they basically got some, I guess let's call it token minorities, put them in the first 2 rows, and then backfilled with white people. Am I wrong about this? It looks like the front row is their token minorities, and then all the rest are basically self-hating white people. Yeah.
It's very funny when you think about this, because this is what Hasan Piker pretends the audience of people like Asmongold are. But this is his supporters. It's a bunch of terminally online Reddit-looking types who just gobble up his LARP because, well, they're terminally online and they have absolutely no critical thinking skills whatsoever. They're a part of this cult, and that's just the way it is. But here's another quote saying, "It's sad, gross, and deeply revealing that you got together with all of your most diehard fans in person for a show, and the single biggest thing you decided to focus on was mocking an assassination victim, also while wearing an outfit inspired by a guy who caused tens of millions of his citizens to perish." But of course he wasn't done. Eventually Hasan would sing the meme song "We Are Charlie Kirk," and he would do it with his little podcast buddies. And let's just say how evil all of this is, and hypocritical given his previous fears of what that assassination would mean for him and his own safety. And then you see people in the quote saying, "Charlie Kirk built the largest political youth organization in the country from nothing. The president followed his advice in selecting the current vice president. You can't even get your dog to listen to you."
Without shocking
Brutal. But honest, okay? Then you see some comments saying, "Bro is like
God.
50, by the way, doing this cringe stuff." Of course he has to. That's the audience he is completely captured by. He has to act like this. Otherwise, they're going to turn on him, and because of the incredibly hostile and violent following he has created, I think that's his absolute worst nightmare. And also, cool it with the Sam Hyde images here. You might scare Hasan. I mean, I can literally hear this image, by the way. You know, Hasan punch a Nazi Piker when challenged to a boxing match by a guy he called a Nazi. Yeah, he ran away. And he's still running away from anyone who has took him up on his offer to do something like that. But here's another reply saying, "This guy cried over a fan holding a picture up during a photo. He is the most performative, pathetic, wimpy little guy in the world." And that is true. He had a mental breakdown after someone simply walked.
Oh my God, I remember this. He acted like this guy was he was like, this guy could have assassinated me. This guy that came up and basically memed on him, holding up the Kaya picture and saying "Free Kaya." Afterwards, because this was in Ireland, by the way. When he was streaming afterwards, he was saying, like, this guy could have killed me. This guy could have assassinated me on the street. Like, crying like a little bitch because someone memed on him and made him look like an idiot. That's Hasan Piker.
Next to him and held a meme of him shocking his dog. That caused him to absolutely crash out. And now he's doing this at his live events and is mad at you for understanding why that's hypocritical. But here's a quote saying, "Fox News should be running this clip 24/7 for the next 2 months. It really is that bad. Foreigner in a Mao outfit celebrating Charlie Kirk's death while being a major advisor to several Democrat candidates."
Gonna disagree. I'm actually gonna disagree. I think we're at the point Fox needs to stop covering him. I do. Because Fox covering him, again, you have to go on the basis that Hasan is an attention whore. He literally whores himself out to get attention. I think Fox should literally cold turkey stop talking about him. Because they're giving him the attention that he needs, and he is not a big of a story as they're trying to make him out to be. He's a whiny little bitch that cries and whines on stream every other day saying he's such a victim, while at the same time he thinks that terrorists should basically kill anybody that doesn't believe in Islam. And is basically saying, I want communism to take over the country in order for it to be destroyed. So I actually disagree, and I think that Fox News should actually stop talking about him entirely. Just don't even mention him, and instead, Fox needs to be what Fox needs to start doing. They need to start talking about candidates that have a strong possibility of beating out the Socialist Party, the Communist Party that is trying to gain more and more footholds throughout the country. That's what Fox needs to do. They need to start doing coverage of people that have a legitimate chance of challenging and defeating communism in the country. That's where their energies will be far better spent. Because I could guarantee you a lot of these states where communism is starting to really gain footholds in a big way, outside of like California and New York, because let's face it, those two states are lost. Those are done. But all of the other states, like, start actually focusing on candidates that are a legit challenge to them, that can actually end them. Get them on your broadcast and actually have them lay out what their platform is. Have them actually detail out what their plans are. Function as a platform for these challengers to get their message out to people who may not even know they fucking exist in the first place. That is what Fox needs to do. Not platform Hasan. Because by platforming Hasan the way they are, you're only going to feed his ego, and you're only going to give credence to the erroneous thought process that he is some kind of democratic kingmaker. Because he still thinks that's what he is. He still considers himself a major political pundit. He still considers himself a democratic kingmaker. He thinks that because the news agencies are covering him. Stop. The worst thing imaginable for Hasan to experience is for people to forget about him, for people to not know that he exists. That's the worst thing imaginable. The only thing that I can suggest that Fox should be running a clip 24/7 is him shocking Kaya. They want to run a clip of Hasan? Cool. Run the clip of him shocking Kaya 24/7. Over and over. Run the clip of him pulling Fish, his previous dog, by the tail, potentially damaging Fish's spine. Run those clips. Absolutely. Do that. But that's it. That's the only kind of clips that Fox or any news agency, not that I expect any of the others to do anything, to run.
Absolutely. It was actually a Democrat, John Fetterman, who said Republicans should be running endless ads. Anybody who is associated with Hasan Piker, you should run ads showing everyone that, because he is such a net negative for anyone he's associated.
And in that respect, yeah, like what someone mentioned in the chat. Yeah, like Republicans running, show the ones that Hasan is supporting, show that like there's like 15-minute clips. There's 15 minutes worth of clips out there, easily to find. Run those clips of Hasan saying that capitalists should die, that he, and I'm quoting him, that there's the streets that the streets should run red with capitalist blood. Run those clips. Absolutely, yes. In addition to shocking Kaya, in addition to pulling Fish's tail, yes, run the clips of him being a demonic human being. Absolutely. This one? No, don't bother with it. This is milquetoast. You run the clips where he is actually being inhuman. Those are the clips that you run if you're going to run any of them. And Republicans with Democratic opponents who Hasan supports need to use those clips and say, this is who the Democratic candidate is basically aligned with. This is whom they have basically gotten into bed with. This kind of person that wants you to die because you are a capitalist. That is what they need to do.
With politically. And also, yes, that is a good strategy, okay? At this point, he is a blight for his own party. But here's some more quotes saying, It's been nearly an entire year after leftists offed Charlie Kirk and they still endlessly mock him and dance on his grave. These are not political opponents. They are enemies of civilization who want the rest of every conservative gone.
Not just conservative. I mean, actually, Kangman Lee, I played Tunnel Waters with him. He's fun. He wants to pretend like he carried the team when Maria left the door open and I got sucked out of the van. Not my fault. Anyway, moving on. I'm going to disagree with Kangman Lee about one thing here, about they want the rest of every conservative dead. Slight correction on that. They want the rest of every member of society that does not goose step in line with what they specifically want. They want them dead. If you step out of line, even slightly, they'll want you dead. So it's not simply conservatives. It's anybody that is not zombified. You know, that doesn't basically act like a good little bot. That's like, and if you are not a good little bot and think for yourself in any way, shape, or form, they want you gone.
There is no other solution other than to completely and utterly crush them. There is no more debate with demons like Hasan Piker, who will do anything to get you offed. Charlie Kirk tried the free marketplace of ideas, and they offed him for it. And that's the thing I said recently. Once you realize there's genuine evil in the world, and that's what you're dealing with here, not just a difference of opinions, you're dealing with genuine evil. It doesn't make the world feel better, but it makes a little more sense, right? It starts to make a little more sense because you can't wrap your head around how people can be like this and have support for it as well. Here's another quote saying,
it's gross. It's actually just racism. They really just want to enslave and end white people. No. It's that is a number, that is a goal. Yes, I will agree that is a goal. But the reality is, if you are not a good little bot and follow and basically obey them like proper little slaves, it doesn't matter what your skin color is. They want you gone. They want you ended. Regardless of your ethnicity, regardless of your religion, if you do not goose step in line with them and drink the Kool-Aid and vomit back up exactly what they want you to vomit up, they want you dead.
Hasan Piker is engaging in pure, unadulterated evil. Whoever gloats over disaster will not go unpunished. Proverbs 17:5. Here's another quote. Yeah, these people are evil. I find it incredible how these leftists can cheer on the violent death of someone they politically disagree with. Hell awaits all these demons mocking the death of an innocent man with a family. If Hasan faced the similar thing, the top right-wing commentators would not mock his death, but after this BS, the left is making it very difficult to feel sorry for them.
And that's the biggest thing there, is only one side is basically doing en masse mockings of death and have been for years. Only one side has done this. Think about that. They hold so little value to human life that they don't care. They don't care if someone loses their life and they didn't ascribe word for word to their ideologies. They will mock them. Oh, look, this person didn't drink our Kool-Aid, didn't do what we told them to do, and look what happened. Oh, too bad. Now we make fun of them. It's only one side that's doing that. Only one. As a reminder, even if you do goose step, and even if you do goose step, even if you drink the Kool-Aid, even if you do exactly what they want, like a good little bot, it's still not going to be good enough. What someone in chat just said just reminded me. Look what happened to Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Particularly Renee Good. She followed orders. She followed orders like a good little SJR soldier. She did exactly what they wanted her to do. It cost her her life. She died for their cause. You know what the response was? She's not good enough. We can't mourn her. She doesn't deserve to have the recognition because she was white. I'm paraphrasing, but that's literally what was said on camera. Because she was white, she's not good enough to have the recognition of if this had happened and she was, say, black. Because she was white. That's how these people think. Anybody that's considering like becoming a part of this communist movement, realize something. You're not good enough. You're going into this and you will never be good enough for them, especially if you're white right now. And that may change. It may change to, well, it doesn't matter what your skin color is. You're never going to be good enough. You're just going to be a piece of meat for us to throw at the enemy. Just remember that when you go in, you are expendable. They don't care about you. You are literally a meat shield or a meat bullet that they can throw at the enemy. And when your time is up and you sacrifice your life for their cause, they won't even spend 5 seconds mourning you before they move on.
And that's the thing. He is playing an incredibly dangerous game. I don't think he realizes, maybe he's so blinded by his incessant need for attention that he doesn't calculate how dangerous what he's doing really is. But that's just the way he is, unfortunately, for everyone. Here's a reply saying, it's funny how he waited until it was completely played out and safe to do it. Exactly. He literally waited for this to be less controversial to do, because I feel like if he did this in the weeks after his death, the reaction would be a lot more polarizing. But people are just so inundated with this stuff. Like, it's been going on for a year, and he's jumping on the bandwagon to really show us how he really feels about Charlie Kirk. It was always a bunch of nonsense when he was saying that he was a human being and that he, this should never have happened. He's now afraid of political violence. That was just some puff piece garbage that he was making at the time to make himself the victim and the center of attention. And now that enough time has passed, he's showing his true colors, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Here's another quote saying, ignoring the substance of what is being said here, you have to acknowledge how profoundly uncool this guy is. Zero charisma, no real presence up there. Zoomers would say he has no aura. Yep. Absolutely true. Here's another quote saying, this is sick. I didn't agree with Charlie Kirk much, but there's something very disturbing about mocking the death of a fellow political commentator who was offed for doing the same thing you do for a living.
No, okay, I'm disagreeing with this. First and foremost, it's not simply mocking the death of a fellow political commentator. It's mocking the death of a human being. We're not going to minimize this by saying, oh, it's a fellow political commentator. No, it's mocking the death of a human being. That can never be forgotten. No, I do not want anyone to ever minimize a person's humanity by parsing them down to, oh, they were a political commentator. No, they were a human fucking being. He was a human being. He was a husband and he was a father, and he was murdered in front of his family. That can never be understated. And then doing the same thing that Hasan does for a living. No. Charlie Kirk did not do the same thing that Hasan did for a living. Charlie Kirk actually had dialogue, actually had discussions, actually reached out to people. Hasan sits behind his computer and screeches and rees, and basically anybody that he disagrees with, he shuts them up and bans them off his stream. They are not the same. They will never be the same.
Especially considering Hasan knew Charlie and had debated him. And ultimately, there's another layer to this. It should just be so obvious, but Hasan has consistently referred to himself as a guy with empathy. He has described empathy as his superpower, and that's what makes him better.
Oh my God. You know who else made that statement of empathy? I have a superpower. It's called empathy. You know who else said that? Yeah? Anybody familiar? Not iDubbbz, no. Boogie. Boogie has also said on his streams before, I have a superpower. It's empathy. As a reminder, Boogie is a pathological liar and a sociopath. Yeah. Parallels just kind of write themselves there, don't they?
Than all of his political opponents. How's that working out? It's a weird way of showing your empathy, given these comments and really any comments this guy makes on a daily basis. This is a disgusting situation. Just when you think this guy couldn't sink any lower, he predictably does go.
Sociopath gets tossed around too much like grifter. To a degree, yes. I don't use sociopath willy-nilly. Sociopath is someone that will basically is a highly manipulative individual who will use use other people's thoughts, emotions, generosity, etc. for their own personal gain to enrich themselves. So I don't throw down sociology or sociopathy just willy-nilly. I try to be very careful whenever I ascribe that label to someone. Because, again, I don't want it being tossed around willy-nilly so it loses all its meaning, kind of like grifter, kind of like Nazi, kind of like istophobia, etc., etc. Hassan is sociopathic in that he is basically sociopaths are highly manipulative, and he is manipulating his audience of tens of thousands to give him money and make him think like he is some political genius. He is absolutely a sociopath.
Lower. And that's really all I wanted to talk about because, yeah, just evil stuff, ladies and gentlemen. But that's going to do for this video. If you enjoyed, please consider giving the video a like, consider subscribing and turning on notifications for daily uploads as well as multiple streams every week live here on YouTube. But overall, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.
I actually thought we were going to hear more about this, but yeah, it's basically about what I already knew in regards to this event, but still, things that need to be said, parallels that need to be drawn, information and facts that need to get out there.
Ember burns